Could you possibly reveal the medical stuff?
No, I can't. No, I can't. We've still got a bit to go through, obviously, with lots of things, whether it's time of game, travelling, and all those sort of things, and what the circumstances are that we face. So normally I'm pretty accurate when I get to this point, but we just got a little bit still to play through this morning, or this afternoon.
What's the latest in terms of the game?
We'll fly in and out on the day. The game time, it looks like it's going to be around 1, maybe 4. So we still haven't got absolute information on that yet. As soon as we do, clearly we'll let everyone know, and the AFL will let everyone know. But it's a circumstance that's outside our control, and the AFL are doing their best.
Are you guys just checking your phone, or will they tell you when there's a concrete decision?
Yeah, absolutely. They'll tell us. I mean, we're all working through some unbelievably difficult circumstances at the moment, and we're patient enough to wait until the information that they need and that both states need and governments need, and we'll be ready to go when we need to be.
You've been fluid for a couple of seasons. Is this as complicated or distracting as it's been the day before a game, not knowing when you're playing?
Yeah, not really. We expected to be playing in Melbourne right through the week, and we thought that would be the case. We thought there'd be no crowds, but we just knew that there'll be some difficulties whether it was going in and out on the day. Normally we travel the day before, so we expected most things to be what we've done in the past. We have done this. It's not like we haven't done it, so it'll be okay.
No concerns about flying into Melbourne when your teams have flown out?
No. We trust the decision makers to make sure that it's a safe environment for everyone, and we expect that will be the case.
Do you like the flying flag?
Don't know. I don't know how we went last year. We did it a number of times. I'm not sure. I think we've been okay at it. So ideally, in preparation-wise, you'd prefer to do it slightly different. But we've had teams come here and do some difficult jobs on the way through. So we know it's achievable and we know it's capable of getting the job done.
Roof open? Is it going to be wet?
I think it's going to be closed. There's no crowds, so I imagine that makes it capable for it being closed.
Steele, can you take us through his injury?
Yeah, he's got a syndesmosis injury, unfortunately, with his ankle, and he got through the game last week. Goes to show the courage of Stevie, I reckon, a little bit, that he was managed to run out the game okay. His ankle, he's had a history of a grumbly ankle, so he thought it was just typical. His ankle being a little bit sore after a game. Got here yesterday, tried to do some change direction, was really struggling. Further investigations has shown that he's done an injury that's a bit more severe, and unfortunately for us, he'll need some surgery to fix it.
So he's had surgery. Will get surgery.
No, he'll have surgery. Yeah.
Your small forward stocks are
down.
It seemed very unfortunate. How do you cover for all these guys?
It's a really good opportunity. It's a good challenge for some people who are going to get chances to play in the side. With Boyd Woodcock coming into the side, he's been looking for another opportunity. There's plenty of people who want an opportunity and a chance to play well. And for us, it's sharing the load. It's the same mentality we've had right through the season. It's the ability of the squad, and we need to make sure we can cover an area. And at this moment, we're being stretched in one particular area.
Connor, just 1 week?
We hope so, but we never. Conors' knee got a big hit. If you remember the hit against Charlie late in the game last week, again we thought 8-9 days he might be okay. But we're in a position where we just need to make sure he's right when we do put him out there, and Conor will give his absolute best when he can.
Jersey name among the emergencies. How close is he to coming in this week?
Yeah, well, the right thing to do would be, I suppose the wrong thing to do would be to pick him, because we'd like to rush him into the team and get him back in there. So we know he's an AFL player of high quality, but his conditioning is more important for us, and we've taken the opportunity to make sure that's done perfectly and give him the chance to play a strong 7 or 8 games at the back end of the year, we hope.
So can we rule him out of being the medical staff?
You can rule him out of being the medical staff.
Your mid-season recruit, how close is he getting?
Yeah, he's getting really close. He's getting really close. And he plays in that area of the ground, Jed, and there's going to be, we keep losing the players that he's probably came into to play in their role, so it's going to make it a real opportunity for him. And but he's also learning lots about our game. We know that he's late starting to the season is going to make it a little bit of a challenge for him. But I like what he's doing. I think he's going to be an opportunity for us to use at some stage.
Cleary's omission, is that an admission that you were made just a little too tall last week?
No, well, yeah, in some ways it's certainly. Us reflecting on what we need, and we wanted to try and do something. And we're not in the situation where we're finished now and we've got the perfect product. We know that we're going to keep exploring what our opportunities look like to make sure that we can get them at our absolute best when we get our best team available. Some of the stuff that you get challenged with is around availability from week to week and who's available for us. And we made some decisions based on that last week. We've got some evidence on that now as well.
What about names coming back in? How much was that about? Cleary going out and obviously Pete's form in the SNFL and the structure itself?
Oh, it's as much around having an extra ruck probably as much this week because of Ryder and Marshall. I mean, their record together is outstanding, so we need to support Scott a little bit more with the traditional ruckman. St Kilda's record with their 2 rucks in the side is outstanding, and we're acknowledging the fact that that's a threat for us, and we think Pete can help a lot in that space with Scott.
You said last week that you wanted to try Aaliyah in the ruck. How do you reflect on that now going forward?
What it gives us is information that we can now, decide to use it or not use it again, and like we have done with Charlie and Todd, we've used them in the ruck as well. So we've got a lot of information that we can use when we need to use it. And you're never sure in a game what happens and when you might need to do something different. We've actually got some opportunity now that with the information we've got, we're pretty flexible as a team.
Ken, what sort of protocols will players be under once they return back to SA?
At this stage, I can't give you the absolute detail of what that will look like. I'd imagine it would be pretty much similar for most people who return back to SA. Will be tested at some stage. As soon as we return, we would have to isolate till we get results back, is the way I would view it, but I haven't got the 100% detail of the accuracy of that. So I suggest we'll be tested for COVID, we'll get negative tests, and we'll be able to then continue as normal.
Is this your preference for the game? It seems like there's some talk that this could be moved to another state that's landed on still being at the Marvel Stadium during a lockdown.
Yeah, no, I don't. As I said, that's outside my control. I don't. I just play within the boundaries that are put in front of me, and that is that we're required to be at Marvel Stadium tomorrow to play, and we'll be there.
What about protocols on the way there in terms of when you land? Are you aware of what you'll have to do on
No, we've got a chartered flight, so we'll be pretty much contact free of anything that's going on in Victoria, and we'll get to the plane on bus. We'll get off the plane, we'll get on another bus, and we'll go straight to Marvel Stadium, and we'll be in our own isolated room and ready to play.
What's been the what's been the key focus this week?
Winning.
From a game plan point of view, is it? I mean, have you put added emphasis in contest turnover? Has been a problem yet?
No, we continue. We'd like to think we don't get stuck on probably the merry-go-round, and that is from week to week what works, what doesn't work. We like to make sure we keep building a progressive game style that people in our team understand that all parts of our game needs to be continually evolving and continually improving, and that will be no different this week. We understand the challenge and the threat of the Saints. They're back in some pretty good form. They'll be playing for a position in the 8. There's some real reasons for them to deliver on what they've been delivering on since the bye, and we know how strong they'll be. So for us, all parts of our game have to be on notice.
Bit of resurgence in the midfield for Saints. Luke Dunstan obviously in form, and Jack Steele, really good season. Pretty big job for Ollie Wines and Trav and them in the middle. Yeah,
it always is in the midfield. Every team you play against, you could talk about them all. They've all got great midfields, and that's what the AFL is. It's the best quality of AFL footballers, and they're all divided up into 18 teams. They're all pretty good.
Just checking in on Butters, obviously after his issue last week, it seemed like some good news earlier this week. How's he tracking?
Yeah, I'm not sure I should talk about good news because we haven't been getting a lot of it when it comes to Zach, but we got him back and that was good news, and then he got hurt again. So, look, he's tracking pretty well. I imagine that optimistically, at our best case, he could play next week. If not, probably the week after for certain, I would think.